Friends, welcome you all on my YouTube channel Law Decoded. My name is CS Rohit Kumar, and in this video we are going to study the related party transaction. As you might aware, this is one of the most important topic in corporate laws, and this related party word you may find in various legislation, not only in the Companies Act. Even it is important as equally in Income Tax Act also. Even you can find in GST also, and listing obligations, listing regulations, and in accounting standard as well. So mentioning this related party transaction in so many places, it signifies that it is one of the most important compliance aspect when we say about the Companies Act. Because why it is important? People and or I would say directors in the corporate, they try to give the benefits to their known one who are related to them directly or indirectly. That's why this concept is very important of related party transaction, because it requires the approval route, the basic thrust in the Companies Act, whether it is section 177 of Companies Act or 188. The basic thrust is on the approval part. There has to be, the things go through the proper channel, proper route. There has to be proper disclosure, so that it is disclosed to the shareholders, who are the ultimately, I would say, the owners whose funds are invested in the company. They must be aware that how the things are going on in the company. That's why this related party transactions things is very important. So let's begin. So when we talk about the related party transaction approval, majorly we can say there are two sections under the Companies Act which govern. First is section 177 and another one is section 188. But normally when we say the related party transaction, we give our attention to 188 only, because that specifically say these are the related party transaction. But we also have to see that 177 section of the Companies Act, which don't say related party transaction but say transaction with the related party. As you can see in the table, this transaction with related party. And you must understand, before going through the section or approval route, whether a party with whom you are dealing, or whether you are having any transaction with any party, that party is a related party or not. So that definition is given under section 2 subsection 76 of the Companies Act. So let me go through the same clause where the related party is mentioned. Just let me open that Companies Act. So here you go. This define here related party. So you can see there is a list where certain entities, certain person, or I would say director or relative are given, to whom you can say these are the related party with reference to a particular company. So first category is a director or his relative. So if you are dealing with director, the company is dealing with director or their relatives, whatever be the director, their relatives. Relative definition itself given under Companies Act. Then KMP or his relative, a firm in which a director or manager is a relative and a partner, a private company. So this is a list. So one thing which you have to check, whether the party is a related party. If it is a related party, then again you have to go. Again you have to check section 177, 188. So I am saying, irrespective whether there are specified transaction or not, you have to take section 177 approval. And let me tell you, section 177 is about the audit committee, which talks about the audit committee constitution, and it also defines simultaneously the terms of reference. And in terms of reference, there is a point which says all transactions with related party goes through the audit committee route. It means you have to take the audit committee approval first, and it does not specify any specific transaction it says transaction with related party. So irrespective of any transaction you can think of, if it is with related party, you have to go through section 177. So that is a separate part, which because it says transaction with related party. Now we come to section 188, which is the, I would say, the main section we usually refer, related party transactions. So section 188 subsection 1 specifies certain transactions which we can say these are the related party transactions. Related party has to be there, but if there are certain transactions, then the compliance aspect is different. So these are the transactions. If you are, first is selling, purchase or supply of any goods or materials, selling or otherwise disposing or buying property of any kind, leasing of property of any kind, availing of rendering of any services, appointment of any agent for purchase or sale of goods, materials, services or property, such related parties appointment to any office or place of profit in the company, its subsidiary company or associate company. And the last one is underwriting the subscription of any securities or derivative thereof of the company. Again, I'm talking about section 188. So section 188 is triggered when you are going to have the specified transactions with the related party. But again, there is one exception to this rule. If you are having transaction, these specified related party transaction, and you are incurring those in the ordinary course of business, and that ordinary course of business, that too on an arm's length basis. Arm's length basis means if you are dealing or if you are having a transaction, similar set of transaction with some unrelated party, so what would be your price? What would be your terms and condition? So that aspect you have to keep in mind. If it is ordinary course of business, you are normally conducting those transactions, then it is okay. You don't need to take any section 188 subsection 1 approval. So when we say approval, what sort of approval? If transaction involve, I have given in the table, all transaction with related party, you have to take audit committee approval. If the transaction is specified under section 188 subsection 1 and it is not in ordinary course of business, then you have to take board approval for the specified. And there is a third category. If section 188 subsection 1 specified transaction crosses certain threshold limit which is mentioned under rule, please don't read as under section, this is rule 15 sub rule 3, then you have to take shareholder approval. This is important. So let's check what are those threshold limits which are given under rule 15 sub rule 3. So here is the rule 15, we have to check sub rule 3. So it is given here. Okay, so you can read the section. Let me increase the font size. I hope it is visible to you now. Yeah. So as you can see, for the purpose of first proviso to subsection 1 of section 188, except with the prior approval of the company by a resolution. Okay, so when we say prior approval of a company, we are talking about the shareholder approval. And earlier there was a requirement of special resolution. Now there was some amendment, and after amendment only ordinary resolution is required. A company shall not enter into a transaction or transactions where the transaction or transaction to be entered into. So these are the criteria. I just read out 1 and 2 for you. Like you can see Roman 1, sale, purchase or supply of any goods or material directly or through appointment of agent amounting to 10% or more of the turnover of the company. So that is a one threshold. If it crosses 10% of the turnover, then you have to take the shareholder approval also. And similarly, there are the different level of threshold defined for exactly the same specified transaction, but the threshold is given under rules. So when we say section 188 subsection 1 for the board approval, there are no threshold. For the board approval, you have to take approval irrespective of threshold. But for the company approval or the, I would say, shareholder approval, you have to check whether your transaction crossing the threshold limit or not. and accordingly you have to take the shareholder approval. Now under the shareholder approval part there is one exception, and exception is if the transaction between the holding company and the wholly owned subsidiary company, then you don't need to take the shareholder approval. That is the exception there. And after this exception part, there is a next point is ratifications. So sometimes it happened when the employee or the director, due to urgency of a business, not able to take the prior approval, and they entered into a transaction with the related party. Now they place a proposal, or I would say they place the items in the board or before the shareholder, as the case may be, for the ratification. So if shareholder or the board ratify the same, it would be good, otherwise it would be voidable. If it is not, it's like if board of directors or the shareholder don't ratify the transaction which have already occurred or already entered into by any employee or the director, then there will be a non-compliance. There will be a risk of huge penalties and non-compliance. So the first thing is that if the directors and the shareholder don't agree, the consequence is that the transaction itself is voidable at the option of a company. The company can avoid that transaction. Okay. Now we can also check about the voting by the related party, because since it is a related party transaction, whether it is a board meeting or the shareholder meeting, related party is also there. So one specifically point is given there that the related party cannot vote. That particular member, that particular shareholder cannot vote if it is a related party. But again, this exception, this provision does not apply if it is a company and 90% or more of a member are relative of promoters or the related party. So if it is that kind of company where the 90% of people are family people, then you can escape this route. The member can vote on those matters. And again, these restrictions not applicable on a private company. So if there is a transactions going on in a private company, then members are not restricted to vote on those matters. And this is all about the approval part, and non-compliance is what could be happened. There is a huge penalty, a separate part. You can go through and see the sections, and I hope you don't incur any non-compliance so that you have to check the penalty section. But penalty is quite huge for the differently listed company and for the other companies, and also the company can take actions for recovering of losses against the employees or the directors. Now we come to the disclosure part. If you are a practicing professionals, then you must aware in the board report there has to be some annexure wherein we have to disclose this related party transaction. So first is there is a board approval disclosure, and second, company is required to maintain a register under section 189. The register name is MBP4. There is a format, prescribed format is there. You have to enter these details, whatever be the transaction you are or having a contract arrangement, you have to enter those details into that register. So this is quite important, and in that register also, when the director giving their disclosure, if you remember section 184, that entry is also has to be recorded in MBP4. So this is all about the related party transaction given under the Company Act. I just give you a very brief introduction about it, and I'm telling you there is a separate provisions with respect to related party under accounting standard, which is related to accounting disclosure. I'm not touching that. There is also related party rules, or I would say regulation under listing obligation disclosure requirement regulation, LODR regulation, which is specifically applicable on a listed companies. So that are a separate part. If you really want that I'll make a video on that, please comment in the comment section so that I can make those video. And if you have any doubt regarding this transaction and nuances, because this is a quite huge topic, I just give you the brief. So you can ask your query in the comment section so that I can check, I can revert, or I can, if possible, make another video. So thank you so much for watching this video.